What is house music? So for house music, I guess this would be like the standard of modern day house music, is you want to have a kick drum hitting every single beat of a song, and you want to slap in a clap or a snare every second beat with an open hi-hat every offbeat, and so add some shakers in there to give it a little bit of that groove, some more of that swing, and some close hi-hats to give it even more of a swing or groove. Connect everything together, like you're gluing a puzzle piece together. House music is a music genre with a tempo of between 120 to 130 beats per minute that's under the EDM umbrella, and it evolved from disco music back in the late 1970s. Long story short, disco used to be extremely popular, very popular. So popular that if DJs weren't playing disco music at the time, they would end up getting fired because they weren't making the radio stations any money. And you know, whatever goes up must come down. Disco music lost popularity and people stopped listening to it. But however, disco still had many fans that were huge fans of disco, and their music wasn't being played on the radio anymore. So what do you do then? Or what happens then? The music, like that music culture gets pushed underground because radio stations aren't playing it, you're not seeing it on the TV. The only place to listen to the music that you like is underground. Go to like an underground concert or an underground rave. And that's what ended up happening, is the whole disco movement started moving underground, where artists experimented with their own sounds and became very unique in that sense, because no other huge commercial radio stations were playing it. And what happened afterwards is people started developing their own style. So in the same way that electronic dance music blew up into like their own genres, disco music, and in this case it's now what was now called house music, grew and exploded into their own subgenre. For example, someone like Purple Disco Machine, who grew up in East Germany, at that time Germany was divided in half into East and West. So disco music was one of the few genres that was uncensored by the government. So he grew up listening to disco music most of his childhood. That's why his music is technically called disco house, because it has a lot of disco elements, as opposed to someone like Deadmau5, who grew up in America with computers, with a lot of electronic sounds. He plays a lot of electronic house. We also have a lot of genres popping up inside of the house genre. Oh, you have tech house, or disco house, electronic house, progressive house, tropical house. What else do we have? Bass house, future house. That it's very hard to put each song or each artist into an individual category. So that's what we just call it, all house music. Unless like you really want to categorize them and put them in a box into each subgenre, I mean, we can, but it's very hard because a lot of these artists bounce in and out between different types of genres. For example, someone like a big artist that I like is Eric Prydz. He bounces between progressive house to electronic house to tech house. So you can't really say, okay, this artist only plays this house. Like back in the day, you can say, okay, this artist is only disco or this artist is only rock. But now so many mixes have been thrown into, like, so many elements have been thrown into one track that you might simply have a house track that borrows some elements from techno and the melody from trance, and then you have a new track that you don't even know what the hell that's from. But if it sounds good and if it sells and if you like it, then I guess it is what it is.